There is a person you cannot stand. You know the one. Something in how they talk, how they need to be seen, how sure they are of themselves. You think your disgust is information about them. It is information, but not about them. It is a map of you. 100 years ago, Carl Jung gave the thing you are looking at a name: the shadow. It is not your evil twin. It is not a metaphor for sin. The shadow is everything true about you that did not fit the person you were allowed to become. As a child, you ran an experiment you do not remember running. You learned which parts of you brought a smile and which brought a frown. Some parts of you were met with warmth. Some were met with a flinch, so you kept what earned love, and the rest you put away. Not killed, buried. And buried is not the same as gone. By the end of this, you will have a list of people you cannot stand, and it will turn out to be a portrait of you. Start with how it was built. Every child meets the same wall. The world has rules about who you may be. The anger that got you punished. You decided anger was dangerous and sent it down. The need that was called too much. Down. The crying that embarrassed someone. The wanting that went unanswered. Down and down. And you were handed a role. The responsible one. The easy one. The strong one. The funny one. You became the role so completely that everything outside it had to go into the dark. Even praise builds the cage. Whatever the praise did not cover, you quietly buried too. The face you kept, Jung called the persona, the edited self, the presentable cut of you. And everything left on the cutting room floor, that is the shadow. Still whole, still breathing, in the dark. Here is the cruel arithmetic. The brighter the mask, the denser the shadow behind it. The more spotless you need to appear, the more of yourself you must bury to appear it. A saint and a monster are often the same person, split down the middle, showing you only one half. But what you bury does not lie still. It does not want to be good. It wants to be seen. And since you refuse to look at it, it finds another door. Jung called that door projection. You meet your own buried trait out there, wearing someone else's face. Vivid, unbearable. The clue is the size of your reaction. When the feeling is far too big for what they did, that excess is not about them. It is the pressure of what you locked away, finally finding a crack. And watch the trait you are proudest of never, ever having. I would never is often the exact spot where the shadow is buried deepest. Let me show you the shadow at work. You will recognize these people. You may recognize one in the mirror, the one who cannot stand lazy people, who seethes at anyone resting. Buried in them is a child loved only when useful. Their own longing to rest, to be enough without earning it, exiled. So they hunt it in everyone else. The one who despises attention seekers, who finds the loud and the visible unbearable. Buried in them is their own hunger to be seen, shamed so early they swore it off. Now it burns when someone braver lives it out loud. The one with contempt for needy, weak people, proud they never lean on anyone. Buried in them is their own need to be held, to ask for help, forbidden so long they armored it as independence. Other people's need claws at the armor. The one who polices everyone else's pleasure, their desire, their appetite, their indulgence. Buried in them is an appetite they never let themselves feed. Starved, it does not vanish. It turns into obsession with everyone else's plate. The nice one, who quietly hates selfish people most of all. Buried in them is every need they never allowed themselves. They called the silence virtue, and they resent everyone who didn't pay the same price. The cynic who cannot stand naive, hopeful people. Buried in them is their own hope, punished once, so they killed it. They mock it in others to keep it safely dead. Notice the pattern. The trait you condemn is never random. It is the twin you exiled, living free in someone else. So try this tonight. Name the 3 people you find most disgusting. Now write down exactly what disgusts you. Be precise. The specific thing. You think you wrote a list of them. You did not. You wrote a description of what you buried in yourself. It explains the slips too. The cruelty that wasn't like you. The desire that ambushed you out of nowhere. The rage that arrived without permission. Those were not invasions from outside. They were returns. Exiled paths coming home uninvited. Jung saw it in dreams. A dark figure, your own face, chasing you through the night. You run from it. It is you. And this does not only happen in one mind. A whole group can do it at once. A nation, a town, a comment section. A crowd gathers its disowned darkness and pins it, all of it, onto a single outsider. The scapegoat. They are the monsters. We are clean. The most comforting lie a group can tell about itself. And watch the loudest crusade. The fiercest war on a vice is often a confession in reverse. What a people cannot admit about itself, it builds an enemy to carry. An enemy is a mirror they are allowed to hate. Better a monster out there than a stranger in here, wearing your face. Every villain a crowd has ever burned was carrying the crowd's own shadow to the fire. Now the part almost no one is ready for. The shadow is not only made of what is ugly, you also buried your gold, your talent, your power, the right to take up space and not apologize for it. Because once, being that much was unsafe. So you made yourself smaller, and you called it humility. Watch the one who climbs, then quietly wrecks it, succeeds and burns it down on schedule. Their shadow is not a vice. It is their own greatness. Being powerful was the forbidden thing, so they exile it again and again. The analyst Robert Johnson noticed the strangest thing about this gold. People fight their buried greatness harder than their buried darkness. It is easier to confess you are a bit of a wreck than to admit you were built for more and hid from it your whole life. And the buried gold does not stay quiet either. It is the restlessness in a comfortable life, the baffling hatred of the very life you built. That is not a breakdown. That is the unlived self, knocking, asking why you never let it out. So understand what the shadow really is, not your darkness. Everything in you left unlived, including the best of you, which means the goal was never to become good. The flawless mask is the thing that made the shadow in the first place. Jung was not chasing goodness. He was chasing wholeness. And they are not the same pursuit. You do not become whole by imagining yourself full of light. You become whole by making the darkness conscious. So the most dangerous person in any room is not the one who knows their shadow. It is the one certain they don't have one. The person who is only good acts the shadow out blind and baptizes it as righteousness. The cruelest things are done by people sure they are clean. Knowing your own darkness is the one thing that stops you handing it to everyone around you. But meeting your shadow is not acting it out. Letting it drive is not freedom. That is just possession with a new name, and it is not crushing it back down. That only reloads the projector. It is the third thing. To look at what you buried, name it as yours, and choose, with your eyes open. So that person you cannot stand. They are not your enemy, they are the messenger, holding up the part of you exiled. So tonight, when they get under your skin, change the question. Not, why are they like that, but, where do I do that, and where did I bury it? You will not like the answer. That dislike is the door. And the work is not to kill the shadow. You cannot. It is to take back what you exiled. Because it comes back with gifts. The anger becomes a spine. The buried desire becomes drive. And the gold you were too frightened to carry becomes a life that is finally, actually yours. You came here to learn a concept. You leave with a list of people you despise. Read it one more time. It was never about them. It is a self-portrait. See what people hide, even from themselves.